I think so. I think obviously there are some losses there, but and Drinkwater is he transformed their season last year. But whilst they haven't, in terms of the squad additions, the squad, there's less of those. But you can't argue with the quality of who they brought in.
Yeah. And speaking of brought in, so they've made 3 big signings. Clearly, Matt Whitley being the biggest of them all.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot joining him, Matty Smith and Sam Tompkins. To me, that's 3 decent bits of business that just improve the overall quality of the squad. Certainly Tompkins obviously going to be the star attraction to somewhat. How do you think he's going to go in that different environment?
It'll be interesting. I think there might be some lessons in terms of what his experience was when he was with the Warriors in New Zealand, slightly outside of the rugby league bubble, in terms of not hanging around in Wigan nightclubs. Everything is pointing to him having a good season. He's got his mate Mickey Mack with him, hasn't he? So it's a bit of an old boys club there in some ways. I don't see him not. I see him continuing to be the divisive player that he is now. Some people love him, some people hate him, and I think he'll keep doing what Sam Tompkins does.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see one overall.
You can't.
You couldn't resist, could you?
Back to you.
Pipe down over there.
So as not number 1 fanboy, but getting up there in the fanboy charts, how do you think he's going to fare?
Me, I think he's going to be a star man. Lead Catalans to a 5th place finish. So that's my view on Catalan. But I want to know where you guys think they're going to finish in the league, really, and why.
Okay, well, I agree with you on this one. I think they'll squeeze into 5th. Matt Whitley is a future star. I think we all saw that in his time at Widnes. I think obviously Matty Smith, if he can stay injury free, if he can avoid the kind of things that happened with Luke Walsh, I think he'll do them a job, and they might not feel the loss of Drinkwater. And Tompkins can kind of give them an extra quality, can kind of take a little bit of pressure off Gigo in terms of the creativity and that kind of thing. So to me, I see them improving. I think they've I think they've actually improved the quality of their squad, even if it's not in quantity.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's quite a key season for them in some respects, that they've really got to back up and make the most of what they did last year and their exploits in the Cup. Sarah, though, I mean, I had them going 6th overall. You guys had them 5th jointly. Sarah, you had them in 10th. What drove that?
Well, I think that last season, they were lucky to finish 7th, really. I know that they had the good run of form, but I think with their losses, I don't see that they've replaced enough. I don't think I can see Tompkins being out injured for a large chunk of the season, and I think they'll struggle without him. I think they need Tompkins to be fit and playing well, really, for them to do well. And I just think that other clubs have strengthened more than they have.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, but whether they'll be right down the bottom end, I'm not. I think they'll have a bit more residual quality than that overall. Right.
What does any? We haven't really talked about any of the young players other than Matt Whitley. Did any of you guys note down anyone you think might be a rising star from kind of like the younger people in the squad? I mean, I'm going to throw out first of all Artur Romano, the 21-year-old centre, because I saw him play a few times a couple of years ago, and I think there's promise there. So that's a youngster that I hope they can kind of work in and develop on. And centre is maybe an area where the squad doesn't have tons of depth, although Tony Gigo might end up playing a bit there as well, and Sammy Stoney Lange as well, for them guys to get game time, I suppose. Yeah,
the only other guy I picked out was, obviously we saw a bit of him last year, was Gudemond, second rower. I think he played in the Challenge Cup final, didn't he? I think he
came in when that good run started, in a way.
Yeah.
He kind of played a few games around that good run, just like Kenny Edwards, the Moral Vacuum. We need to do a T-shirt for that too. And Josh Drinkwater coming in. So yeah, he came in at a good time, didn't he?
Yeah, and to me, he's somebody who can push on from making sporadic appearances last year and kind of be. And to be fair, I think they're very strong at the second row position actually. So there's a fair amount of competition there. But yeah, I can see him getting a bit more, a few more games actually. Maybe is he a prop in the making? I don't know. Is he going to be big enough potentially?
I think they want to play him at loose forward eventually, don't they? So, yeah, maybe.
Right, there we go.
Right, that'll be interesting. Right, I think that's pretty much us on Le Catalan.
Yeah, fair enough. Huddersfield Giants then is next alphabetically. So me and you, Tim, we're going to go through this one. Do you want to start with the first of what the fans expect from their side?
Yeah, Paul Mac _78 said more of the same mediocrity.
James Blakeborough said competitive season following on from the second half of last season. Top 4 again, back in the top 4.
Basil said exciting, better than 2018, but a lot of other teams will be too.
Fair balance there. Mark W, our old friend there, who joined us for the Huddersfield Giants off-season show, he says he expects them to surprise plenty who haven't given them a shot. Much better fitness and fewer injuries will see them get a playoff spot.
Yep, Jeff says better start than 2018. Consistent, but perhaps a lack of a big pack will stop us making the big time.
And Matt Shaw, I don't know if it's that Matt Shaw because I thought he was a Halifax fan, so maybe a different one, said more consistency, but a coach still ultimately unhappy with his forward pack and will spend time tweaking it here and there.
Yeah, Matthew Robinson said I think we can reach the grand final.
Adam Field, I think just Adam Field, says actually Adam Fielden maybe mistyped there, says the start of a new beginning. After managing to move on some players to accommodate new acquisitions, we are able to juggle players around for new formations and combos. How the players gel will decide how we get on.
Yeah, and finally Will says a top 6 finish for the Huddersfield Giants.
Fair enough. Relatively optimistic from the Huddersfield Giants fans. I mean, they finished 6th last season overall and got to a quarter-final of the Cup. Finished 9th. The listener predictions is for them to finish 9th in the season overall as a collective, but the Huddersfield fans clearly expect a little bit more than that. Strap yourselves in because we've got a long list of departures to go through. Shannon Wakeman, Ryan Hinchcliffe, Mikey Wood, Tyler Dickinson, Nathan Mason, Danny Brough, Jake Mamo, Jamie Greenwood, Tyler Mellor, Liam Johnson, Jordan Rankin, and then Sam Wood and Ollie Russell are out on season-long loans down in the Championship. I'm sure
I'd forgotten half of them were even there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that in a little bit more detail when we give our wider views on these two. Tim, in terms of gains, they brought in Tom Holmes from Featherstone, but I think he's going to miss the start of the season injured. Reece Butterworth, the hookers, come in. Matt Frawley is the big signing. Aquila Uarti is the headline kind of marquee man. Scott Griggs has signed, but he doesn't have a squad number yet, but they've reserved the number 21 squad number for him. It's very confusing. And Joe Wardle, obviously, in that swap for Jordan Rankin. So, I mean, I'll give you first dibs, Tim, to say where you think that Huddersfield are going to finish and kind of why and who you think are going to be the key players in that.
I see them in 8th. I think they'll have something that will get them over in a few games. I think Uarte's quality, who will only do well for them. Frawley's an interesting one because I've watched him a few times in various bits and I've never been particularly impressed when I've seen him. He's just been a there or thereabouts player, very much a Huddersfield sort of signing. So it doesn't. I don't feel. Tom Holmes excites me. I think if you get him fit, he could do really well if he gets a proper run in the side. Whether he will is another question. But even then, I still only see them coming 8th. I don't see them doing anything too brilliantly, just because they're Huddersfield. And I think it's there is a lot of changeover. I don't think there is enough quality underlying it to really those. If you just took those gains into most other sides, that would probably bring them along a bit. But I just don't think there's enough there to start with to really make the team any much better.
Is there any particular area you think they might be weaker in or stronger in?
I think it is that forward pack is probably is their weakness.
Yeah.
They don't have a couple of real hard workhorses that they could really hang around and that everyone else could complement off. So I can't really see them. I think the back line looks potentially, exciting when you think about it, the quality they've got within that.
Do you have is your star man then coming out of that back line?
I think it probably is, and it's probably Uarte. And certainly my rising star would again be young Darnell McIntosh. I think they're giving him a run at fullback, certainly in the pre-season. So I think that'll be interesting to see how he goes there. He's had some interesting under the high ball, so we'll see where that goes, where he's going to get a lot of them. And obviously because he's possibly got that reputation, I think he'll get even more of them.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But he's certainly one I always wish well.
Yeah, I mean, my star man is on the other wing, Jerry McGilvray. He spent lots of last year injured and not quite at top peak form, but I feel like he's going to be there this time around. I would hope he is fit for the start of the season. There were some doubts over that, so I hope he'll hit the ground running and have another cracking season, because he was amazing, wasn't he, in 2017. My rising star's Matty English. The forwards is an area maybe a little bit lacking in depth, but he was quality last year, so I hope he'll kick on again now that he's got that experience in him. I do think the Giants have recruited well. They've added skillful depth to their spine with Frawley and Holmes and potentially Grix. They've added some experienced pieces around them. Uarte on one wing and Jerry on the other. Now that should be really exciting and up their try scoring rate from what was the worst in Super League last year. They've got a few good workhorses in the pack. Clough, Lawrence, Ferguson, but maybe, they don't necessarily have any top players in those pack positions. Maybe Matungi can become that, but I'm not sure. Similarly, I do remain still a little unconvinced about your pick, rising star, Tim, McIntosh. Just at fullback, I think he's a great wing prospect. He showed that last year. But to me, positioning and concentration, they need to have improved a lot for him to own that number one shirt, in my opinion. There's a question over the half. I, like you, don't really know how good Frawley can or can't be. I certainly think, this is the thing I think about Huddersfield, they're going to be better to watch than they were in 2018 for the most part. Like 75% of 2018, they were miserable to watch. I do think they'll just probably fall short of the final stages in the Cup and Super League, though. So I've got them finishing 6th in the table.
Fair enough.
Did we have anything from you, Alan, about where you think they're going to finish, and maybe if you've got any other star names, so rising stars to throw out that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, so I've got them finishing 7th, so kind of in the middle of you. I think they're everything about this team says mid-table mediocrity. I think Frawley's an interesting one. I think he was in and out of the Bulldogs, didn't get a run of games. Never seemed to do anything horrendous, but never kind of was a match winner either. But then again, you said that about Drinkwater, and he came in and did a job for Catalan last year. So I suppose the question is he going to be better or worse than Brough was last year? Probably better. So that's probably an upgrade. If he can be on the field, that's an upgrade. I mean, so I think there's a lot around. I mean, yes, on paper, Uarte and as you say, McGilvray, they're
brilliant,
top quality wing combination. Be interesting to see who they put in at centres. I've kind of picked out Jacob Wardle as somebody who could kind of kick on next year at centre. But it'd be interesting to see.
Injuries.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see who actually whether kind of Cujo can stay fit and that they've got some quality.
I just started thinking about that like rabid dog movie there when you say that Cujo.
You've completely lost me. I'll believe you.
Sarah, I've saved you for last on this one because I think it might bookend it nicely with the positivity of the Huddersfield fans, and I think you've got them finishing a bit higher than the rest of us guys have got. So what do you think?
Yeah, I've gone for them 4th. I just feel like they're going to have a really good year. I think Uarte and McGilvray, like you touched on, I think that they're going to score highly, and that scoring's going to win them matches. Really, they've not got Danny Brough to be sent off every third match, so that's going to